Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening. Buenas tardes. Gracias por acompañarnos. Ms. Delgado, can you, before I ask you to take order, roll call, just reminding the public that if you would like to address the school board this afternoon, there is a yellow forms out there on the table. You do need to fill those out and go ahead and give it to Ms. Delgado, and then you can address the board during open forum, okay? So now I call officially this Gadsden Independent School District regular school board meeting to order this Thursday, August 25th at 5:01. Ms. Delgado, can you please take roll call? Thank you.
Mr. Cano?
Present.
Mr. Castillo?
Present.
Ms. Flores?
Present.
Ms. Murillo?
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Present.
Madam President, we have established quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Delgado. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, welcome. Real honor this evening to recognize our recently selected principal of Anthony Elementary, Ms. Lopez.
Madam President, Superintendent Dempsey, and members of the board, welcome to the home of the Eagles and in Anthony Elementary. I have two sixth grade students that will be doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the New Mexico flag. And shortly after that, we have a small musical presentation by our music teacher, Mr. Dodd. So please stand.
I pledge to allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. New Mexico Pledge. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Okay, Mr. Dodd.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Dodd. I'm the music teacher here at Anthony Elementary. We're going to have a short performance. We're going to sing two numbers for you. Patriotic Memories. It's a collection of patriotic songs. And then we're going to sing a song called Check It Out. It's about respect. And then we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have like a rhythm band. We're going to be clapping and playing drums and playing shaker instruments to the rock band Toto. We're going to play along with Africa. music program.
Go ahead.
You might, I don't know if you want to read the mission statement?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, Mr. Castillo, could you please read the mission statement? Thank you.
The Gadsden Independent School District will ensure that all students will learn by putting education first. The district will provide quality educational opportunities conducive to learning that will facilitate students' individual goals.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Okay, Mr. Dempsey, you again.
Thank you, Madam President, board members. Welcome again. Thank you, Ms. Lopez. That was terrific. We really enjoy seeing our students perform. And again, want to welcome you. I'm sure the board's aware you've been running the show for since we started here, pretty much, and this year. And you've done a great job, and we appreciate everything. And now you're officially our principal here at Anthony Elementary, so we welcome you. Yeah. We'll begin this evening with a school security update. Mr. Ortega, we'll try to do this together, but if I miss something, please help me. And so we'll start with probably the POPS program. I think we're all aware that this was an idea that I can't take credit for. It came out of our leadership team. Mr. Carmona was actually the one that suggested it. It's I think as of today, we have 93 individuals who have submitted applications for interest. So yes, we really appreciate that. That's great. That's terrific. We really appreciate those people willing to spend some time and volunteer their time. It's a process. And so the next step of that, once they submit a form that says they're interested, the next step of that is to complete the background investigations. And so it takes a little bit of time to get through those. I believe today there's probably somewhere between 11 and 13 that have completed that process. So this coming Tuesday will be our first orientation with a small group. And that orientation will give them an idea of what we're going to ask them to do and what they'll be charged with doing, and what they'll do if they encounter something that they would need to deal with, which is in general report to the campus administration. That's the general rule. I don't want them to be putting themselves in any kind of situation that they could get harmed or anything of that nature, but report to campus and check doors. The big deal really is to ensure exterior doors are secured, and that's a real important piece to us as well. And there'll be 2 phases of their training. As we all know, our campuses are all unique. The second phase of our training, they'll shadow a current security officer so that they get an understanding of that particular campus. And I believe one of our volunteers has requested to participate at 2 campuses. So she'll get that opportunity, and that's fine if people want to do that. It's not a problem. But we want to give them that campus-specific walkthrough so that they understand each campus and the uniqueness of it as well, okay? Anything I missed, Mr. Ortega? I probably did, so he'll help me here.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey. Yes, this program that we're going to be rolling out on Tuesday, the POPS, Again, just the piggyback of what Superintendent Dempsey has already described is designed to put volunteer parents in the schools to provide an extra enhanced security measure that we already have in place to ensure that every precaution's been taken to ensure that students, faculty, and staff are safe. So in essence, this POPS program will be focusing on ensuring that the doors are locked, patrolling the exterior and interior of the campus, and including the property line and the parking lot. And at any time where they observe anything that needs to be reported to administration, they will do so at that time. So in essence, their primary goal is to observe and report. And outside from that, of course, the volunteers will also be given an orientation of just the basic understanding what our expectations are as volunteers on the school property. And of course, that will also be addressed with the volunteers that day, at which time the principals and or their representative will also be present. So when we're given this presentation, if they have anything to add or any questions they may have outside what will be presented to them, of course, the school principal or the representative will be able to answer those questions for them. And in hindsight, I do believe this is a fantastic program. I think this is just a program that's been adopted most districts across the United States. It has very different acronyms, different names. But of course, the end game here is to provide security at our campuses and enhance the situation awareness that we're living in today to ensure that everything that we're doing humanly possible is done accordingly, so that at the end of the day, our hope and the benefit for the program is that the children come to school to be educated without the fear of not knowing whether or not there might be something that would happen during the day. This is what we call mitigation. So in essence, this program will shore up those aspects of it so that the students feel safe. And of course, and security is paramount for the district. And so that is why we are doing everything we can to ensure the safety and well-being of the students and reinforcing the school community that every precaution is taking place for their children to attend to our campuses.
Okay, and so if you have any specific questions around POPs, you could ask us now, you could email me, and we'll try to get that response. The one thing I will tell you I really like about what I'm starting to see is it's gonna grow from a small group, but that allows us to really control what the quality of what we're doing here. And we don't want this to turn into something that get out of control on us. So we want to be real careful that it's an ad and a positive ad and not something that becomes anything negative. But we appreciate. I'm incredibly excited. Encouraged 93 people are willing to do that. And remember, and I think I mentioned this earlier, but we're asking them to sign up for 2-hour blocks of time. And so they spend about 2 hours on a campus, and then we would try to change that out. And ultimately, what I'd love to see is us to have 2 people in each of those slots so that we kind of run in teams. And so that's what we're working towards, and that's our POPS program, if you will. Okay. Little update on school resource officers. We have our MOU in place and executed for Santa Teresa High School. That's with Sunland Park PD. And then this week, we were able to get started at Gadsden High School with Anthony PD. So that now has started. I was contacted yesterday from our sheriff. I believe it's a member of our sheriff's department, and has requested to meet with the same group that we had originally met with a few weeks ago on September 8th at 10 o'clock. And they have, there's some items they want to discuss with it. So again, I'm encouraged that may be an additional possibility. I've also had a conversation with Sheriff Black from Otero County, and it was encouraging as well. You know, it's a little bit of a, Chaparral is the area we're really, you know, needing some support in. And he needed to talk to several people, but the conversation was very positive. And I think that's another organization that is willing to come to the table with us and try to work through some of these pieces of this, okay? And so that's really where I'm at on SROs. Just a little recap is our goal was, I think my understanding of the goal was, let's get SROs established at our comprehensive high schools, then we'll start working on our middle schools, and we'll start working our way back to, you know, eventually maybe have a armed officer in each school, including elementaries and pre-K. So it's a multi-year effort. I'm hearing conversation already from legislators about this is a topic that I think they're going to be ready to tackle. And so I'm encouraged about the possibilities. And again, if you have any questions about it, for this kind of a project, it's a little bit of a puzzle that we have to put together. But we're starting, you know, you get the border of that puzzle figured out, and you start putting the middle pieces, and I think we're starting to see that border come together, and I think we're starting to see how we can make this happen for our community. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ritz. I appreciate that. And questions?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Okay. What time is that meeting that you're having for the POS Patrol on Tuesday?
At 12. The first session starts at 12 to 2, then the second one from 2 to 4.
12 to 2 and
2 to 4. And the reason we have it like that is so in the event that there are a question and answer, of course, that will be the time we'll be addressing it, whether with myself or with their point of contact, which would be the school principal or their rep.
Okay. Now,
reference to the program.
where is this meeting going to be at?
That's going to be at the Support Services Building, Training Room 201. That's located at 1325 West Washington. It's right next to Gadsden Middle School.
Okay.
We're the first building facing the roadway.
Okay. Now, my second question is, I know that there's 93 out there, but what's the breakdown on the parents in the different schools? Do we have that yet?
Not at this time, but I do know just by looking at the list that we compiled, the majority of them are at the elementary level. There might be only maybe one at the high school, but the majority of the volunteers that have been cleared and the school that they are wanting to volunteer at, majority are the elementary schools.
Okay. Throughout the district?
Throughout the
Or
district.
just one certain district?
No, throughout the district. Yeah, we may have maybe one or two at La Unión, may have a couple down in the south, and a couple in the Chaparral area. So there is not any one definitive number overseeing the other, but it is a combination of the various locations within the district.
Okay, and another thing is, how are we going to identify the POPS program when they're in schools to be not mixed up with other parents that are there?
They're going to be wearing vests, so
Okay.
they're going to have an identifier on them. And so that was one of the very first items on the list when we were going to create this program and this training and orientation, was that we needed to separate them from the ordinary parent that's only there for school business or any other business other than the volunteer. So they are going to be wearing the vests. It is my understanding that there will be vests available Tuesday.
Okay, and then my next question would be, are the principals already, for the ones they're going to the elementary, are they aware of how many parents they're going to be getting yet?
Yes, they've already been notified with the list and the timetable when to appear for the training on
Okay.
schedule for that Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Would you be able to provide us that information? I think, could we request that information to see specifically numbers of POPs per campus? Would that be okay?
Sure. Madam President, board members, so let me make sure the request is you want to break down by campus.
Is that correct, Mr. Khan?
And we absolutely can provide that to you. Here's what I would say about that. Don't panic if you see campuses that have holes. It's going to, again, take us time to build this, but I really do think when we start growing this out year over year, you're going to see a lot of people willing to participate because they feel like it's real. It's something that they truly can do, and it becomes real. So we'll get that information to you by campus, and then what I would encourage, what you can do is encourage parents from your community. Hey, we need a little help in North Valley, and I don't know that that's true, but those particular schools that don't have people signed up, you can help encourage that, and that'd be great.
That's why exactly I wanted to find out how we have campus by campus, so
Sure.
that way we can promote whatever district that we need to.
Sure,
Absolutely.
So we can help you, but also the district will also be recruiting, right? I mean, we can help as board members, but also.
Oh, absolutely.
the
We'll be
district.
recruiting for this from probably now on. Like I said, I would love to have every 2-hour block, 2 people at every campus doing those perimeter checks. That would be my ultimate goal. If I could get to that space, I think it'd be a terrific way to ensure that our perimeter is secure and our doors are all locked.
Okay, my next question is for next week's meeting. Is that just for the parents that signed up, or could we, just a suggestion, could we advertise and see, because maybe there's parents who are not sure they want to do this, but if they attend the meeting, I'm thinking like if once they're informed, then they can, and educated what's going to happen, then they can make an informed decision whether, okay, I'm going to do this, or maybe this is not a good idea for whatever reason, but that way they're educated and can make an informed decision.
Madam President, what I might recommend there is I'll work with a group that we can probably do something online to help them and make a video of it.
Okay.
What I don't want to confuse, I don't want anybody to get confused, and I don't want to get somebody lost in this. I want to be sure those backgrounds are done before we even have this conversation, because I don't want anybody to possibly slip through and not get that through. That's really important to us, and we make sure that happens. So we have a little bit of a barrier there, purposeful, to make sure that we get those backgrounds done.
And then talking about background checks, because I had several parents reaching out concerned whether they're going to have background checks, and I said absolutely there will be background checks because we don't want to put our kids in danger.
Okay.
And so my next question is, these individuals, even if they pass the background check, really their primary role is to I guess, what's the word? They're not going to be having anything really to do with children, correct?
That is correct, and that as part of the orientation, that is part of the delivery that we're going to be giving. They're only there to observe and report.
Very
They're not
nice.
going to be disciplinarians. They're not engaged in any type of conversation where obviously the situation would be better handled by administration rather than someone outside the school setting. So yes, that will be addressed.
Okay, and then my last question is, so they're there to observe and report, so if there is, let's say, an immediate danger that they foresee, are they going to be using their cell phones to contact the administrator, or will they be provided radios?
They will be provided with radios, ma'am.
Okay, nice, and they'll obviously be trained to use the radio.
That is correct.
And that's all my questions, thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Yes.
I know that it could be a little bit intimidating when the parents see the packet, and I know you mentioned it's 2 steps, and it's first you have to register, then you receive that packet. And so when you receive that packet, don't be alarmed. It's just a lot of reading and some signatures, but it has all of the policies, which is important to prevent anything, and you're aware of what the do's and don'ts. So please fill out that packet in order to continue, because like you said, even though there's 93, there's really only 11 that have completed. So please, that's very, very important and necessary in order to continue with the next steps.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, next item. We want to welcome our Gadsden High School principal, which I thought I saw her earlier. Yeah, Ms. Legareta. I just want to announce Ms. Legareta, who, last year at one point, she was did an amazing job as an assistant principal at Alta Vista. And I called her one afternoon and said, Ms. Legareta, I need to move you to Gadsden High School. And if you think about that for a second, I was asking her for a lot. I didn't give her much of a window to say no, but I remember her response was, Mr. Dempsey, whatever you need from me. And I really appreciated that. Well, she jumped in the fire and just like she had at Alta Vista, immediately became just a cornerstone of Gadsden High School. And now went through a really tough process. I will tell you, and maybe she can share that, the way we interview now and the process we're using, it's tough. When I called her to offer her the position, I'll probably never forget this response. I've never had it from a principal, really. Is she says, "Mr. Dempsey, I won't disappoint you." And I thought, I immediately said, I'm here to help you. And she says, "No, I'm going to work harder than you ever imagined." And I want to just commend you for that attitude. It comes out in your day-to-day operations, the way you handle yourself, and I'm super excited about the direction of Gadsden High School. And now we've got to put a team with her so that she gets a little bit of time to breathe once in a while. But we want to welcome you to our team, and we know we're here to help you. So thank you. Okay, our next item, we have our student representative, Miss Isabel Piñon, who's a 10th grader at Gadsden High School.
Good afternoon. My name is Isabel Piñon. I am the sophomore district representative at Gadsden High School. This school year has been going really well so far. We have recently got a new principal, Ms. Legareta, and she has been doing great so far. She's always greeting the students every morning. And we are going to start interviews for our assistant principal as well. Our football teams will be having their first home game tonight at our home field after being told we weren't going to be able to use it. Our volleyball team has also started, thankfully. Our middle school team has allowed us to use their gym as ours is being remodeled. Volleyball will be participating in the Franklin tournament this week. Both boys and girls soccer has also started along with cross country, and they are doing really well. We're excited to be back this year as it is finally starting to feel normal since the pandemic. We now have an officer on campus along with the security guards for everyone's safety. We have had our senior sunrise and a sports pep rally planned by our student council to introduce the fall sports: football, volleyball, soccer, and cross country. I know that there are a lot of great things ahead for us this school year. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Great job. Great to hear that. Okay, our next item is our board member report. So, Ms. Morillo, will you get us started this evening?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for Anthony Elementary for your hospitality. Seeing the kids up there is great to see, especially when it involves music. Everybody knows that music is my thing, so I love seeing them perform. Also, everybody has been very busy, and I thank you for your invitations. Have been attending coffee with administration with Santa Teresa High School, La Unión, open houses, so it's been great to see everybody somewhat back to normal. Also, we had a workshop and we had great information. I look forward to this year, and it seems like every school has a great plan and have great activities coming up, and so please invite us. I will love to be part of those. I was invited to a band meeting, and it was great just to see what the plan is for the school year. And football games, here we come. I know Gadsden has a game today, so we'll try to leave at 7:15, just to give a hard time to my friend over here. And then we look forward to see the Santa Teresa High School game. And that is all for me.
Thank you, Ms. Morillo. Mr. Cano?
I like to ditto everything that Ms. Murillo said, but most important, I also like to, I followed Ms. Legareta since she was there at Riverside as a student teacher, and then as a substitute, and then as she grew up, I followed her to Alta Vista, and she took care of both my boys very well, including myself. I was very upset with Mr. Dempsey for moving her out of there. But, it's like I said, it's for a better cause, okay? And now, sitting back, I see the big picture, and congratulations, Ms. Legareta. You deserve it. I know you're going to bring that school up, and you're going to keep it up, and you're going to keep moving forward with it. I hope I can get And I know that I have principals out there that can give it 110% the way Ms. Legarreta does. Congratulations, I can't, thank you. I also like to thank Ms. Shrugs. They invited us to the coffee with the principal at Santa Teresa High School. We got great ideas now. Hopefully soon, parents in the district, in the lower part of the south end of the district, please, we need POPs. We need parents to help us move forward with this POPs in Santa Teresa High School, okay? And also, they do want to get PTOs started there by parent volunteer. I encourage you. It's fun. I've done it before, and I'll be glad to do it again. It is a fun thing. You keep an eye on all the kids that you come in, you get introduced to. They get to know you, and they help you out. Whether you're a parent volunteer or whether you're a POPs, enjoy it. Let's have fun. Okay, let's run with this. Let's take care of our kids while they're in school. Okay, that's all I got today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cano. Mr. Castillo?
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Alvarez, congratulations. I'm 2 blocks that way. I'm right here. Anything you need, just call. Ms. Legarreta, I know I haven't made it clear enough to everybody, but I bleed maroon and gold. So anything you need, again, I'm here. Don't worry about them people. We're good. We'll handle that afterwards. As far as the POPs, it's interesting because the parents that are involved know everything about the school. So I think this POPs program is what it's about, just being involved with your school, knowing what your school is, and it doesn't take much. It takes a presence. We were the parents that the teachers, not that they didn't want to see you, but they would always say, we always see you, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's where not only the faculty, but the kids know that there's always somebody around, and that's what the kids need. So I encourage everybody. I'd say I'd volunteer, but I still got 5 years to work, so if you can wait for me for 5 years, I'll be here. But I encourage everybody. I know it sounds overwhelming, but 2 hours is nothing. We waste 2 hours on watching Cowboy games, right? So 2 hours is nothing. And don't laugh, I'm a Cowboy fan. But again, it's for a good thing. It's for our kids, and who wouldn't do anything for their kids? So I encourage everybody, and so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Ms. Rodriguez?
Ms. Lopez, thank you so much for having us here. I really appreciated the performance, and I don't know if you all noticed, but the kids were actually reading the music from up there. So it's pretty exciting to see technology, and I was trying to keep up with the rhythm, and that is just so neat. I think Mr. Don is doing an awesome job, so thank you for that performance. Let's see, Ms. Legarreta. Well, what can I say about Ms. Legarreta? I am super excited that I know she will be leading Gadsden High School well. I know that the momentum's gonna continue, and I know that she truly cares, and so welcome. Yes, like Mr. Cano said, I guess I don't have enough words to thank you, and I know that you are just gonna do great. So I appreciate and I'm grateful that you're with Gadsden High School and you're a blessing. And I'm very, very excited about that, as you can see. Also, I attended Coffee with the Principal. I know I've always been advocating for that, and I encourage parents to participate during Coffee with the Principal and during Coffee with the Superintendent and staff, the Monday morning message. It's very, very important to keep informed. But one of them that I attended, I was very happy to see that parents were happy to be part of the Coffee with the Principal. And so we know that Wednesdays are for teachers to do some PLC, which is the professional learning community. And I mentioned to the principal because I saw how the parents were interacting, And they were talking about, oh, what do you do? And, it was their kids were in the same grade level. And so I said, maybe we should have some parent PLC, because they are collaborating and talking to each other of what the things they can do. So it's very nice and good to see parents back at the schools participating. Please continue doing that. And if you can't go directly, be physically there, do attend the online. We now have the opportunity to see it both either in person or online. And that's a way to keep informed of what's happening within your campuses or within the district when Mr. Dempsey has a coffee with the superintendent. I attended the city council or City of Anthony meeting where they spoke about the SRO. I'm very excited that the MOU is in place for Santa Teresa High School and now for Gadsden High School. I appreciate the trustees. They saw the importance, that we truly need these SROs at the campuses. So I appreciate that collaboration and again, that they saw the need and the importance of it. Like Mr. Ortega said, it's paramount, right? Security is paramount, and we all need to work together. And of course, as Mr. Castillo was saying, like with the POPs, we do need to work together and we need to be a part of it. We need to be part of the solution and not just be looking at accomplish that. So yes, I think that's about it. And I'm looking forward to the meeting on the 8th, September 8th with the sheriff to continue that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Ms. Flores.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome all of you. Thank you for joining us, those of you who are in person and those who are watching us online. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I want to start by thanking Ms. Lorena Lopez for your hospitality. I'll enjoy the dinner later as in a Zoom meeting, so thank you for that. And I want to congratulate you. Not many know that I'm very proud of you because she was a colleague. And why am I getting emotional? Because I'm like, people that I work with are moving on and ahead and don't ever forget where you started from. And I know you're going to do great things. I worked with her as a math process trainer many years ago. And so congratulations, well deserved. And then also want to congratulate Ms. Legareta. Congratulations, ma'am, as the new Gadsden High School principal. I am class of 1994 too, so I am very proud that you were selected. And let me see. So I'm going to say something to you in español. So, vas a ser un gran ejemplo para nuestros estudiantes de lo que puede lograr una persona que es bilingüe. Y yo sé que tú vas a ser una campeona para el programa Dual Language, porque creo que eres English Language Learner como yo y vas a ser una campeona para nosotros. Okay? And I'm going to translate in English. So what I just finished telling Ms. Legareta is that she is going to be a wonderful example for our English language learners and our students of the wonderful things and the accomplishments that bilingual people can accomplish in life. And so I also stated that I know she is going to be a wonderful champion for dual language in our Gadsden High School, and I know that's a feeder pattern. One day I hope to see that all three feeder pattern schools go dual language, but I know you're going to do awesome things, so congratulations, Mel. And then let's see, I also, on August the 13th, we all attended a meeting that I had requested as far as academics, and our superintendent with his academic team presented to the board the strategic plan for our district. And so thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you on the board. I know Ms. Viramontes was also part of the board at the time when we went ahead and agreed that we needed a strategic plan. And so, it's been worth the effort to do this, and thank you, sir, for backing us up with that. And I also want to thank, we had two speakers that day, Mr. Lyons and Mr. Juarez Infante, or Mr. Lyons, remind me what association he's with, Mr. Dempsey?
Mr. Lyons is BIA, Border Industry Association.
Okay, and then Mr. Infante is the manager for Anthony, New Mexico, City of Anthony. And so I want to thank those two gentlemen because they came out to present. And I believe that recording is available, Mr. Carmona. So for those of you who'd be interested to see what happened that day, it was interesting because Mr. Lyons was presenting the possibility of, I guess I want to call housing development or home development. And so it was very awesome to see what the plans that could happen here in New Mexico, because as you know, El Paso will eventually run out of space, right? So probably homes will start being built in New Mexico, and it is cheaper, right, as far as taxes. So very interesting what they had to say. But I thank each and every one of the academic team of Mr. Superintendent Dempsey for presenting to us. And then also wanted to make sure that our fall sports have started. So our fall sports are volleyball, football, soccer, and cross country. So I would encourage our community, please go out and support our students. Whether you have a kid that plays or not, go support them. And support our middle schools also. And tonight, good luck to the Gadsden Panthers. They're gonna be playing, I believe, El Paso High School. Are they Tigers? I'm not sure what they are, but hopefully, I'm praying for a win, right? So, and it's actually gonna be at the high school, correct? So thank you for making that. I saw the news on a remind, and I was like, hey, cool, we don't have to travel to Las Cruces. So if you can go out there and support them, that I know that they would appreciate that. And I just want to conclude by wishing un feliz cumpleaños a todos los bebés que nacieron en agosto. Ya nomás les quedan poquitos días para celebrar su cumpleaños, ¿verdad? So happy birthday to all of our August babies. We're sure glad you were born and that you're part of the Gadsden Independent School District family. And with that, sir, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, moving on to item 4 on our agenda. The human resource report is there just for public knowledge. No action is required, but I did want to add that I appreciate all of those who have served in our district, because obviously when you look at the report, you get resignations or retirements, et cetera. So those of you who are resigning, thank you for serving our district, and hopefully, you can come back, you'll change your mind. And then for those of you who have accepted a job to work with us, welcome to the Gadsden Independent School District family. Okay, moving on to item 5. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as is.
Mr. Castillo has made a motion to accept the agenda as is. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to item 6. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept regular school board meetings for August 11th, 2022.
Mr. Cano has made a motion to accept our board meeting minutes for August 11th, 2022. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to our consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
Ms. Rodriguez has made a motion to accept the consent agenda as is. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to open forum. Ms. Delgado, do we have any speakers this evening?
Madam President, we have 2 open forums.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we do have 2 speakers for this evening, and I am reminding our public and our speakers this evening that you have a total of 5 minutes to address the board. And then let me read the little blurb we always read. So personal attacks upon board members, staff personnel, or other persons in attendance or absent by individuals who address the board are discouraged. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others that convey an unjustly unfavorable impression may subject the presenter to civil action for defamation. Policies KE, KEB, KEC, and KED are provided by the board for disposition of legitimate complaints, including those involving individuals. And then do know that we give these to our superintendent. Thank you, sir. I wanted to thank you in public. He did create a Google spreadsheet where we are listing those of you who address the board. He lists them, and then there's also a log to make sure that individuals who come before the board, they are being followed through, and somebody is reaching out from the district to help them with their concerns. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to call our first speaker to the podium is Gabriel Olguin. You may step to the podium, sir, and good evening.
Good evening, Superintendent Dempsey, Ms. Flores, and members of the board. My name is Gabriel Olguin. I'm one of the trustees here for the City of Anthony. As you did hear, our first school resource officer did start at Gadsden, and we're very excited. I did speak with our principal back here. Welcome. I do want to echo that I'm very excited to have her. She did call me after hours. I think it was 6:30, and very little people do that, just to talk on updates. So thank you. I did want to discuss, there is additional things that the city is trying to do. We did pass our first property tax mill here at the city. What that's going to do is that's going to create about $650,000 revenue, and that's going to open up about 4 police officer positions. Right now there is a little bit of pushback from internal to classify them as school resource officers, so I am reaching out for help. The first school resource officer, the district did collaborate with us and ultimately is funding most of the school resource officer. But at the end, you know, I want the city to fund school resource officers on our own. But that's, you know, a little bit of pushback. So I do want to request community members, teachers, administrators to contact us and make sure that we do look at that, because that was one main concern, that we aren't seeing community movement on the school resource officer position. And I'm just one city councilor, so I do want to request help from everybody to contact us to make sure that this is a priority. A little bit that's being done right now for the elementary schools here at the district. We did get with police staff, and they will be ordering bicycles, so police will be on campus in collaboration with the administrators and the city manager to make sure that the campuses are patrolled every hour. But again, you know, that's not the same as having a full-time SRO at this school. So I do want to request help from the community in contacting us to make sure that this is a priority for us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, our next speaker is our AFT president, Dolores Nañez. You can step to the podium, ma'am. And good evening, welcome.
Good evening, members of the board, President Flores, Superintendent Dempsey. It's a report. The year started, and there's a lot of things for the students, which is great. They're getting a lot of support, and there's a lot of training for teachers and other staff in all the departments, I hope. But there's still that thing about the raises. People are still calling and complaining, if you will, about the raises. So, you know, if you could just revisit it, I can only advocate. Aside from that, I think things are going well. Just remember that I bring you the news that I get. You know, I report on the complaints, the concerns, the issues, and Mr. Dempsey knows it. So, but you know, we try to iron out things. Still, communication is still a little wrinkled, so we need to work on that. I think on both sides, maybe. But other than that, I think we got off to a good start, except for salaries. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Nañez. Have a good evening. Okay. Our next item on our agenda is action items. There's actually no action items this evening, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our discussion items. We've got 3 items, and the first one is employee return to work policy regulations. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, Ms. Burciaga is going to help me with this item. We had some conversations about this, and if you recall, New Mexico has done a couple different things with return to work. And so it began, you know, years ago it began with a 1-year sit-out. This last year, it changed to a 90-day now, and I'm already hearing some pretty intense conversations as we move into this legislative session of a basically almost no-day sit-out. So I'm not sure how that'll roll out. One of the concerns, though, I think we had is how do we maintain fairness as we work through an HR process, because Ms. Burciaga can share with you, that can really be a struggle. We want to make sure that we're always selecting the very best candidate for the position. So what I had done at the direction of the board was reached out to our legal counsel, and they took our current policy and they added some pieces. So I'll turn this over to Ms. Burciaga, and then maybe we'll troubleshoot with the board. I want you to think about this time as, let's just brainstorm a little bit. This is, what I'm going to tell you is, it seems pretty simple when you first glance at this, and then when you start running scenarios, you pause a little bit, and you wonder. And so, Ms. Burciaga?
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey. I would like to have a preliminary conversation tonight about a regulation. As you recall, last board meeting, you passed policy GE, which allowed staff members to retire and return after 90 days of work. So what I'm going to present to you is some language that could help with the concern of holding positions for employees. However, I do want to present both the obstacles and the gains from such a regulation, okay? So if we could just scroll down just a little bit so we could see all the language that would be added, the other way, sorry. Scroll up, scroll down. And as you see, the first language is the actual House bill language, which you are familiar with. And then everything that's bulleted underneath it is new language in regards to a regulation, right? A retiree must submit an application to ERB and be approved prior to beginning work. A retired member may return to employment per period of no more than 36 consecutive or non-consecutive months, which means we can hire them full-time. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That one means that they only can work for 3 years, okay? The next one is that we have the right. There is no limit on salary or number of hours the retiree may work, no full-time equivalent FTE limit. So we will determine that as we do for every position right now. So here's the language that is specific to the concern of holding positions, okay? Any former employee of the district will not be hired into the individual's former position until at least a 12-month break in service, but is eligible for reemployment into any other vacant position for which he or she is qualified. So in yellow, it's basically a summary. If you hold out the year and return, you can return to your same position. But if you return before that, then you would have to apply for other vacancies besides your position that you held. Now this does limit because we have a lot of hard to fill positions, so we need to be cognizant that we have positions that are specialized, such as diagnosticians, such as procurement officers, such as nursing. And right now, we have a need for administrators. Even that's a limited pool. So seasons change, needs change, and so if we did pass this regulation, we would limit ourselves and we would continue to have hard to fill vacancies. So I bring that to you for thought and feedback on as to how we can maybe change the wording to not limit ourselves, but yet have control over the hiring process.
Thank you, Ms. Burciaga. A couple examples that I would give you that are very common to us. Two positions that, you know, from a school district perspective, diags. These are individuals that are very important in our special education process. Very limited number of diags in even this area and really across the nation. So that's an area that is always a struggle to fill and will continue, and that could be an issue. I would also, this may seem a little bit strange, but water technicians. We actually have 2 FTEs budgeted for water technicians, and I haven't been able to fill one of those for over 2 years. It is an incredibly competitive market, and if you think of that salary, and there, you know, as an estimate, I'll just say probably total salary cost with benefit packages, maybe around $60,000. If I were to contract the services, $150,000. So it gives you an idea of how important it is to be able to recruit those individuals with those very specific credentials. And those are just two examples. We are starting to see some struggles in filling admin positions. And so, you know, those are the things that Ms. Burciaga and I have talked about, and I wonder if there's some ideas. We may not have them tonight. Well, I would venture to say let's take some time on this. Let's really walk through it. Let's finesse that language so that when we get to a point that we're comfortable and we're not limiting ourselves. Because we do want to make sure we control this, but we don't want to put such limits on ourselves that we just can't fill positions. Thoughts, questions from board members?
Madam President. Go ahead. I don't know, something that, can we add something that states like if we have an X amount of applicants with I don't know, say within 3 applicants, and that way it's not like it's restraining it as much. I don't know if that makes any, I'm just.
So, Madam President,
just
if I may, Ms. Rodriguez, to clarify, what you're suggesting is maybe having some criteria in the regulation where at least 3 applicants must be a part of the applications in order to proceed, or
I guess my thought is that way it's not, you know, it's open, and obviously any position is open, right, and they can apply, but that way it's not like people feel like if I apply, they already know who they're gonna be choosing. You know, they know that there's a must and there's a limit in order to proceed. I mean, it's just, it's just a thought I have right now, but I think I need to process it more.
Madam President, but to that point, I mean, we're human and we always come up with our freaking brilliant ideas. Aren't you gonna say you already have those 3 in mind, right? I mean, because we're already saying we're only gonna allow 3. Well, I mean, but if we put a limit to how many that's what I'm saying, so.
No, I don't mean to have a limit, but what I'm saying is that, you know, that way it's very open and everyone knows that there's a possibility to apply, right? And I just think that people have that crazy idea maybe of thinking, well, why even apply if they already know who they're gonna choose, which is what we're trying to eliminate, right? We don't want that, because that should not be happening. And so it's more like we're trying to get people to have that trust that there's a process and that it's gonna, you know, everyone is considered, not just the people that they're assuming have that position guaranteed.
Okay, because I understood it the same way, right? That you said we're only gonna have 3. That's what it sounded like. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I still need to process it, but that's why it's a discussion.
So, Madam President, if I may, could we then put it again as a discussion item for the next board meeting, and that way it gives the board time to reflect and maybe come up with some language that they would be interested in adding?
I would agree, and I have to make this comment, is that I have full confidence in you, Ms. Burciaga, that to the comment of Ms. Rodriguez, that funny business is no longer going to take place in our district under your leadership, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you, Ms.
Because, knowing that, I think, and I know you agree, is that, yeah, in Gadsden, we are going to be doing things differently, and it's not about who you know, it's about doing things correctly. So thank you for because under your leadership, that's going to happen, and I thank you, sir, because under your leadership with her, that's starting to happen. And so with that in mind, I guess my comment is, and I don't have verbiage at this time, so I agree with you to let's continue at the next board meeting and a discussion item. I guess my concern is, how do I want to say this? So you all know I'm an educator, correct? I'm a teacher. So if this is my sole opinion, not the board's opinion. So I just want us to be careful because also, the perception out there of the public, of parents, of our employees is that why am I gonna apply if somebody already has it? And so I know, again, I'm stressing under your leadership, that's not gonna happen ever again. And my thing is, as an educator, I think about myself. If the day that I the day that I retire from New Mexico, because I work for New Mexico, I would encourage my colleagues, there's other campuses that you can serve, so I would encourage my colleagues that if let's say that you are, let's say that I'm at Chaparral High School, and, I've given how many years at Chaparral High School, but I retire, and then after the 90 days, I'm gonna come back. There's other high schools, there's other opportunities. Challenge yourself, there's other children that you can serve. Don't be stuck in a rut at the same campus, because it's beautiful from experience. Is if you're scared, don't be scared. Like, go and explore other campuses, because it's awesome and you're gonna grow where you're at. So I just wanted to make that comment, because you don't know until you take a chance and go somewhere else. And so I guess that's the concern that I have, sir, is that I don't want our community, our staff, our district employees to have that perception, or that anybody who actually is qualified for a particular job, whether it's a secretary, a custodian, a teacher, a principal, whatever, that I'm not gonna apply because I already know so-and-so is gonna get it, because that's not gonna exist in our district anymore. So, that's just, I guess the issue that I saw was that, the perception of people holding whatever job for certain people, and that's I guess just my comment. But like I said, I challenge everybody else. All of us are gonna get to the point where we retire, and so, if we're going to come back, thank God, that the state of New Mexico decided to do this. Our state legislators, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for doing that. And you're gonna come back and serve your community. Stay in Gadsden, but go to another campus. If you're in Chaparral, there's plenty of campuses. If you live in Anthony, you can still stay in your community. You've got Anthony, you got Gadsden, you got Berino, you've got choices. So I guess that's my opinion, sir, is that if our folks are gonna come back to serve our district, which is what we want them to do, we don't want to lose them to another New Mexico district, is encourage them, hey, there's other schools. Does that make sense?
Madam President, board members, I believe so. Ms. Persigar, did you want to address that?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey, if I may, would you be open then to me coming back and presenting some procedures for hiring versus a regulation? And those procedures would be something that we would implement at the Human Resources Office, and then we wouldn't create a regulation that would limit us and prevent us from what the bill is intending, which is to recruit and to keep teachers and not have vacancies. So with that, I'm asking permission to come back with a set of procedures, perhaps instead of a regulation.
Colleagues, do we agree? Ms. Murillo.
So I have a comment with that, because of, again, with verbiage, what I would like to see is, I don't have anything against someone retiring and coming back to the district. No issues with that. It's coming back to the same position. That is where my concern is, because lack of transparency from the outside, right? Maybe there were 5, 10 applicants, and that person was the best of the best, and so therefore they're going to be rehired. But on the outside, it doesn't show transparency. So whether you're a teacher or the superintendent, he retires for a year and comes back as a superintendent, is just, for me, in my opinion, it doesn't look right, and it's not right. I don't think that an administrator should go down to be a teacher, not down, but to go to another position to be a teacher if they want to remain to being an administrator, or a teacher being a teacher. It doesn't matter. I just think being in the same position that they were at the same school. I think that's what I would like to see different, but that is just my opinion.
Go ahead, Madam President. I think I really like the idea of bringing the procedure. That way there's something out there and everyone knows what's expected, right? And so like Ms. Flores was saying, the perception, right? I think there's a perception, not really that it's a fact. I just think it's a perfect opportunity to make those adjustments now that you're the part of these of this, and that this is coming up, right? We know we had talked about it previously, and it was something that was not locally, but it had to change, or there was some modifications there. And now we can continue with this conversation. So I think bringing those procedures would be very, very important so that everyone knows and sees, and there's that transparency.
One last comment. I'm going to challenge administrators too. The day that you retire, yeah, you can come back as an administrator, but what a beautiful thing is go back to the classroom where we started from, because that's why we're here. So, you know, at least, you know, that would be awesome to see you guys that are administrators out there in the crowd are watching, and all over New Mexico is like, why did we do this for the kids? So like, and again, my opinion is give, not it's an age thing, give individuals that are already starting in administration the opportunity for those positions. You can make a wonderful difference with all the knowledge you have back in the classroom. Just my opinion, okay? Thank you. Any further questions for Ms. Burciaga? Mr. Khan.
Okay. I kind of like I'm picking back to Ms. Murillo. I think, and what I've known and what I've seen this district with our APs, okay, is I think we've got a big vast of talented APs that we have out there. And I think that if when we retire, we're retiring for one reason, right? Because we don't want, you know, it comes to a time where it's enough with the job. I need to look at, I'm being stressed or whatnot, okay? We have talented AP principals out there, tons of them, that can want to have the chance. They got to get that chance. We got to move them ahead instead of having to go and come back, you know, with somebody who has retired, coming them back, put them in the same position. I think, granted, and I agree in having that meeting, that, or whatever you want to call it, in regards to the policies, to go over the policies. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I think we have a big majority of great administrators out there, assistant principals, that can fill and move up to a high school AP. I know we have talent out there, and we got to expose it. We have to expose it. We need to bring them up. We need to help them out. We can't just say, oh, well, this person was here before, we're going to bring that person back. Okay? We need to push those APs, those elementaries, middle school APs to move up. They may not fit at first, but they can fit into the system. They can fit into the system. That's what Gadsden is all about. We got to overcome, adapt, and move on. So I agree.
So I just want to piggyback on what you were saying, Mr. Kano, is that, yes, you know, and I know, I think there's a program, right? Do we still have a program to where we are mentoring, we are looking for those future leaders? Because like you said, Ms. Burciaga, Mr. Dempsey, where I guess we're facing now a shortage of administrators, they're out there. You just need to, and I see it all the time, I'm always encouraging. I see potential, and I'm like, boom, you know, you should do this. And look right here. Math process trainer, I don't know how many years ago, bam, excellent teacher, and there we go. We got to look for those opportunities, so I'm encouraging you administrators that are out here, start tapping those individuals that are out there, you know, encouraging them to go get their master's degree in educational administration. And those of you who are watching, if you're a teacher in here, you know, and you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it, is we also have to become the role models of administration, because many times they don't want to be us because of the things that we see. So we have to be examples so that they can aspire to be administrators and help lead them and mentor them. So with that, I conclude. Any further questions, comments? And I guess we're agreeing to give Ms. Burciaga permission to bring back language for procedures, correct?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Madam President, the part I would add, and I couldn't agree with, I don't disagree with anything that was said. What we're going to need, though, is to look at the other side of that coin, is the hard-to-fill positions. And if we're not understanding the reality of what we're going to experience over the next decade, a lot of people in a lot of careers, not just education, are going to retire. And there is struggles to fill those positions. So we need to be poised with a policy that allows us as much flexibility. So what I might ask to consider is, how do we define a hard-to-fill position? Because if we could define it, maybe then we could offer the flexibility we might be looking for specific situations. And what might be a struggle today, we might have a different struggle tomorrow. Okay, so it's a little bit of trying to predict what that future holds, but it's just looking at maybe defining hard to fill, so that then we can continue to staff every position, because our goal is to staff every position. We wouldn't budget them if we didn't want to staff them, and that's been a struggle. So we kind of, as we work through this, have to keep that in our minds around that, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burciaga. Okay, moving on to discussion item 10B, board resolution. New Mexico School Board Association deadline, it's in October, and I failed, sir, to bring the deadline for that meeting. So, Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, and so there's my first correction. I had initially thought our deadline was October. The deadline is September 12th.
Yeah.
So very soon, resolutions with the School Board Association are due. And I believe, and Ms. Flores, I believe you're on that committee, and Mr. Castillo, I think you've served, and Ms. Rodriguez, I think you've got an opportunity to watch it. And so these resolutions typically get rolled into what they call the School Board Association's legislative platform. And so how you want those to look, and if you have a very specific item, we would need to get started very quickly working on that to get that prepared in time.
Do y'all have any ideas? Because I do have 3 and huh? No? So here I go on my bandwagon, sir, is that we did approve one a couple of years ago, and it was requesting the increase of stipends for special education, or to even give a stipend to special education teachers. And so I did present, I wrote it, presented it to my New Mexico School Board Association colleagues, and it was shut down. I think I'll probably find it and just submit it again. Why? Because our special education teachers work very hard. I am one, well, used to be one. And, those IEPs take a lot of time, and there's a lot of work that's involved with being a special education teacher. And then also, I don't know if we could create one that includes our bilingual educators to increase the stipend. And I am gonna say this, sir, I don't know if that's a decision that needs to be made at the legislative level to provide those funds, because our neighboring district do know that we obviously are competing against other districts. I just wanted to let you know, I think I let you know, and the board to know, is that our neighboring district, the district that I work for, actually what is it called? I went blank, the union, when they're bargaining, there was an agreement made that now our special education teachers are receiving a stipend. I forget that amount. But also the special education teachers are now getting an additional $1,000, which is now putting them at $2,500. So we are competing against other districts, so I don't know if that's a local decision that we need to make, but if we need to write this so that monies from the state can also help us with that, I'm not sure, what you guys think about that, or what do you think, sir?
Madam President, board members, those could definitely be resolutions that we could request. It can also be a conversation as we begin to build our budget for the following year. And so that could be new dollars, and it could be existing dollars that we try to carve out to increase those things. So really, I think both items you mentioned are opportunities to try to address those needs.
Okay. So you just recommend that we probably create a resolution?
Madam President, Board members, I think if that's something the board feels very strongly about, I think it's really important to get that out in front of the state, because that's what happens to it. It's not just, you know, a small group. It's out in front of all school boards that represent the state of New Mexico. And so I think there's a good conversation to be had there, and I would encourage, you know, I think it's a good goal to have to try to accomplish that. So I definitely could support that. I think we have something that could probably be adjusted pretty quickly, and then start working towards getting that into that committee.
Are you guys okay with the creation of that what is it called? The resolution? Ms. Murillo, you have a question, comment?
So you're talking about the resolution that you brought up?
We can
Specifically about that one? Is that what you're asking?
Well, we can either use that one, if I can locate it. If not, we could probably create one. And would it be okay to ask for the assistance of our bilingual director, Ms. Tarazona, and then our special education director for verbiage, sir? Would that be okay?
Madam President, absolutely.
So what do you guys think on that one? I see. Yes, Mr. Castillo? See, okay, and then I have one more idea. So here's my other idea. And this actually there has been a resolution written by the Farmington district. I think, you know, I was thinking of contacting the individual that sits on the resolution committee with me to see if I can take some of the verbiage from her, but here's the thought for all of you guys. So that particular resolution, and I don't think that one passed either, but I think I think in my personal opinion, we need to bring it up, is there are teachers that are sitting in our district that are national board certified teachers. And so the reality is that, you know, many of these teachers are I'm going to say, are very well prepared to be future administrators, but this is the reality. Is as a national board certified teacher, you do get a stipend, and it increased tremendously this year. And so how do I know? Because I am a national board certified teacher. And so, you know, I am going to say that for many of my colleagues that are national board certified teachers, they want to be leaders, and they're ready to go. However, this is the reality. The moment you accept a administration position, your stipend is no longer available to you. And that's exactly why Farmington had written a resolution to, I guess, propose to our state legislators that stipend remain once the national board teacher is, I guess, offered a job for administration. Because that way you get those. I'm not saying that somebody who does not have a national board certification is not also well prepared to be an administrator, but you know, a lot of work has been put into that, and it's not like it's a lifetime thing. Currently, I had to resubmit. There's those of us who are waiting, and December is a magic month where we find out whether we got recertified. And so now it's every 5 years, so it's not like a done deal. So I don't know what your thoughts are, but you know that does, in fact, that's a reality. Many of my colleagues do not pursue the jobs because you end up, basically, I'm being honest, you take a pay cut. And if you're looking at me saying, well, what, you know, is it all about the money? No. Personally, I have applied many times, hasn't happened yet, but it's the reality that you know, colleagues that have that national board, you know, could be excellent administrators, but again, the moment that they take that job, they lose it. So I don't know what are your thoughts, Superintendent and colleagues?
Madam President, Board members, I definitely would support that. I think, you know, the job and role of a principal as an instructional leader could only be enhanced by being national board certified. So I definitely could support that. I want to maybe, the three things I've heard this evening is to talk about a resolution specific to SPED stipends, bilingual stipends, and then a little bit of a different is allowing national board certified teachers to maintain their stipend if they move to an administrative position, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. So any of those three, all of those three, I definitely can support. The leadership team is definitely willing to sit down and help with this. I want us all to get in a time frame on this, though. These are due September 12th. Our next board meeting is September 8th. So between now and the 8th, we would have to have those prepared and be ready for action on the 8th so that those could be then submitted on the 12th. Okay? So just as long as we all, I think that's a very doable time frame, but we're going to have to probably maybe get something drafted quickly and then allow people the opportunity to look at it and make tweaks and adjustments so that they're comfortable, and then we would have it ready for action on the 8th.
I guess, colleagues, do we all agree? And then I could definitely help, sir, with your team, Mr. Arizona, Mr. Repanet, in creating those, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Do we agree? Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll go to work on those.
Okay. Okay, moving on to discussion item 10C, monthly budget report for the month ending July 31st, 2022. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, Ms. Martinez will present this item.
Good evening, President Flores, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey. I bring to you for discussion the monthly budget report for June 31st, 2022. As you can see, operational fund revenues as of July 31st, 2022 were $11.9 million. Operational fund expenditures were $4.6 million. The operational cash balance after temporary loans of $7.8 million was $66.9 million. PED and other grant agencies owed the district approximately $7.9 million. Total revenues for all funds were $18.7 million, and total expenditures were for all funds were $5.4 million. All bank accounts were in compliance with pledge collateral requirements as of June 31st, 2022. I stand for any questions.
Any questions, comments for Ms. Martinez? I don't believe so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last item is our item 11. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, Mr. Cano has made a motion to adjourn. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, we are adjourned, and go out to the game. Have a good evening. Take care.